Hi, today I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of Context AAC, a text-based AAC app with features focused on minimizing taps to generate sentences or phrases by learning about the user and understanding what is going on around them. So we built this app on 3 core values: always available, dynamic, and context-aware. This should be a system that can learn from its users to generate high-quality recommendations. It should generate words and phrases based on what the user is doing and where they are doing it. So we're going to start an onboarding, which will follow progression from basic AAC configurations to more personalized details to help get the app prepared for the user. The goal of the personalized details is to enable the AI functionality to generate content more focused towards the user's interests and preferences. So let's start with some basic configurations. So we're going to pick appearance here. You can choose your text size and text weight, voice settings, including personal voices, your name, and then we're starting to get a little bit more personalized by picking your pronouns, emoji style, grammar preferences, which come into play when the AI model recommends grammar changes. Next, your interests. So the interest section will automatically generate some words and phrases based on however you describe your interests and add them to the mind category, which we'll see later. The more a user describes their interests, the more likely the AI generation is going to perform well. So this is all about providing high quality contextual information. Okay, now we get to location awareness. If you want, this is optional, the app will automatically detect your location changes. And then those will be automatically connected to activities, which means as you go to different locations, maybe ones you frequent, you can pull up the same location and automatically have your board prepped for the conversations you might have there. You can also enter this without enabling the location awareness. It's just a little bit more manual configuration, but you can still have all the same functionality. You just have to let the app know you're changing locations. So we'll continue here. And now we need to download a language model, which we use for certain bits of functionality like grammar and phrase generation within the app. So we're going to download this AI model. We automatically pick which one is best for your device based on your device's capabilities. And this is the only time the app needs to be connected to the internet to download this specific model. Beyond this point, everything is offline first. The app downloads an open source model that does not connect to the outside world. So none of your data is shared. It all stays on your device. There's no harness to speak to the outside world or persist your data beyond your device. This is why everything works in an offline environment. You can delete any or some of your data at any point in time through the context and setting pages. And so we're all set. So the next section will be all about using the app. All right, now that we're through onboarding, we're gonna start using the app. We see here on the board that there are 3 major sections on the screen. At the very top is the options bar. In the middle is the board. At the very bottom is navigation. So we're going to start with the board and then talk about the options bar and then finish up with the bottom navigation. The board has 4 primary areas and we're just going to go from top to bottom. So this first section at the very top is focused on rapidly changing context and quickly adding commonly used words. So if you notice speak as on the top left, this is a section focused on changing the perspective of the generated phrases to use different pronouns. This is designed to enable the user to change between who they are speaking about without having to preload duplicate words or phrases or enter words one by one. So you can see currently the board below has it in I perspective, but I can tap here and quickly change it to he, you, she, or any one of these preloaded pronouns. And the board will update automatically. Next is the ask question section. This acts similarly as speak as, but changes phrases to a question form. So I picked when here. Now you'll notice that not every phrase changed into a when form, but many of them did. The AI does its best to pick a form that makes sense, but it can't always achieve success, so sometimes it can't alter a phrase. And that's when you'll notice that some of these don't actually have a when, aren't in a when question format. Finally, you'll see quick words. Quick words is a way to add connectors or verbs quickly when you're building a phrase or sentence. In most cases, based on how you've configured your grammar level with your AI model, if you tap two phrases, it will automatically restructure the sentence and combine them using a connector automatically if it's applicable. So you don't actually even need to do that, but everything's available here quickly if you do need it. All right, the next section I'm going to talk about is the sentence bar. It has features like a keyboard, emojis, punctuation, a bin to clear everything, the ability to share this. You can increase and decrease the size here. You can play what's in the message, or you can share it with another app. And finally, you can press play.
I am going for a
play
run.
what's in your sentence bar. This third section is categories. This section is designed to get a user to a specific phrase or word subcategory within 2 taps. You can also customize the buttons within to have a jump to subcategory functionality if you want to make this a single tap. All categories and subcategories are customizable. I'll show you this later. The mine category is a special subcategory, or is a special category. This is where all of your AI-generated subcategories will show up by default. As you are using the app, generated phrases will show up at the top of any subcategory, and there's usually a recommended phrase section that appears within subcategories, where additional generated phrases will pop up. The generated phrases at the top with an X allow you to dismiss them, and the feedback will be used to generate higher quality phrases to the user in the future. The other categories and subcategories within the app were developed and organized based on research and some help from the WeaveChat SLP. In this fourth section are the phrases themselves, or words. These are organized by section. You can see sections here denoted as carriers, positive, negative, sensations. For feelings, these are different between different subcategories. All of these can be renamed, reordered, moved, hidden, deleted, added, and edited in many different ways. So next, we're going to talk about editing. Before we dive into editing specifically, we're going to look at this top nav bar, the items at the very top of the screen. This is how we're going to get to editing. This is called the options bar. There are 4 different features you can access here. The one on the top left with the time of day, location, and whatever relevant activities you have configured, this is called the quick topics. Quick topics are associated with the location that you have set up, so that way if you change your location, it will quickly recall relevant topics and bring them into that mine section we talked about. Next is the Finder feature, where you can search for any sort of word that you are looking for, and it will show you how to get there, or you can just immediately add it to your board or to your sentence bar. And after that is the actions. This is how you will initiate board editing, and also you get insights into your context history and a little invite button. And then finally is the help section, where you can go and search how to use the board or how to use the entire app. We've got an ask for help section, and then you can also just take another tour of the board like you did like we were presented with when the app opened. So now we're going to go into editing mode. In edit mode, we can do a lot of different things. You'll notice at the very top right, you can add a new category if you want. If we click into a category, you can add a new subcategory. Basically, everything within with a pencil indicates that it's editable. So you can edit the subcategories, you can edit the categories, and you'll notice you can edit all the phrases and the sections within. You'll also notice you can tap this plus phrase button to add a new phrase, or the plus section button if you want to add a new section. You can also tap move and move phrases or sections, however you want them to be ordered. So what we're going to dive into here specifically is editing a phrase itself. So I'm going to tap a phrase and it brings up the edit phrase section. You'll notice there's a pin section. By tapping the pin, that will add a reference to this phrase so you can see the phrase and how you have it configured in the Mind section under the Pin subcategory. You can move this phrase to a completely different subcategory or move it within the existing sections or hide it entirely. You can change what the phrase says here under the phrase section, add an image that will show up on the phrase. You can there's extensive image editing options when you add an image so that you can configure how it looks within the phrase. And then you can change the width, how wide is this phrase going to span the board from where it's situated. You can record a voice, add one or multiple emojis to the top of the phrase. You can add an action. There's several different actions. You can set it so that you can speak the phrase immediately once you tap the phrase. You can have it jump to a different category or subcategory. That's what I talked about earlier. If you want to have a single tap that gets you immediately to a different subcategory. You can have it open a website, call a number, text a number, or send an email. And finally, you can change the color background of that phrase itself. And then when you're done making changes, just make sure you tap the Save button at the bottom. All right, now we'll move on to the final section of the app that we're going to cover today. So this is the bottom nav. You'll notice there's 5 sections: the board, which we're already on, the history section, context section, settings section, and the profile. So let's start with the history section. The history section has a record of all of your phrases and words that you used within a specific session. You can then go and look at that section and learn more about the conversation that you had. You can always delete a conversation or clear them all at any point in time. And you can also go into insights here to get a little bit more insights into how you're using your board. Next is this context section. The context section gives you information about how the AI tools are being used within your board. This will help you understand if they're effective, and it will also give you context into what it's taking into account as it's making recommendations for you. And down here, you can always go and change the AI assistant or disable it completely if you would like to. Next is settings. Settings is some of what you went through in onboarding, but has additional customizations. There's lots of different sections you might want to peruse around here in order to decide and customize your board uniquely for you so that it works best for you. You can also do things like disable the reminders that pop up to help keep your context in, or to help gather context and change when you're notified about those, or disable them completely. And then you can also go here and disable how history is recorded to your device. So nothing is saved externally, everything's saved to your device, and you can choose to delete or remove anything at any point in time. And then finally, you can go to your profile where you can customize your name, pronouns, all sorts of things that help drive how your board behaves. And then you can do some bulk work like delete images and recordings if you need to. So at a high level, this is